hello everyone, this is Diana, your Gradsquare mentor. In this session, we are just going to have a quick analysis of the IPMAT Rohtak 2023. So all the students have been preparing for the past 2 years or 1 year or 6 months or whatever the time may be. All your preparation was tested yesterday, right? So let's just go through this, and in this session now, we'll just have a brief look into each of the sections. We'll also try to compare it with previous year a little bit, the difficulty level and all, and we'll also go through what could be a good attempt or what could be a good score, and finally we'll come down to the cutoffs. And I think cutoffs is what most of the students are actually eagerly waiting for. So yeah, let's just have a look, and all this is based on whatever information that I have collected from all my students. Okay, let's just go through it. So first of all, this particular paper, IPMAT Rohtak 2023, happened in one slot throughout the whole country. Okay, it happened on 20th May 2023, that is yesterday, okay, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So this was the only slot. The second thing was there was no sectional timer. Though IPMAT Rohtak in its official notification had given that it's going to be in 3 sections: quantitative ability, number of questions 40 and 40 minutes. Okay, and logical reasoning 40 questions 40 minutes, and verbal ability 40 questions 40 minutes. So overall there were 120 questions to be done in 120 minutes. But in our mocks itself, the Gradsquare mocks itself, you might have understood that there was no sectional timing. You could spend as much time as you wanted on any of the sections, right? So sectional timing was not there as per this mention. Okay, so mocks clearly were of this type only, so there was no big surprise at the last moment. Okay, so there was no sectional timer. Mostly the students were very good. They had planned 20 to 25 minutes on verbal ability, around 40 minutes on logical reasoning, okay, and then the remaining time for quantitative ability, because quantitative ability generally takes a little bit of extra time rather than these two sections. Okay, so sometimes students who were more good at logical reasoning could score more. They took 45 minutes and then adjusted the time accordingly. Okay, but that was completely depending upon the students uh, like as how much good the student was in each section. Okay, right, so customizable as per his own wish. Now there was no on-screen calculator provided. Okay, and there was no change in the pattern as well. So whatever the pattern had been last year, the same pattern this year as well: quants 40 questions, logical reasoning 40 questions, verbal ability 40 questions, total of 120 questions. Okay, and that had to be finished in 120 minutes. And also each question had a 4 mark. Okay, so positive 4 marks. Every right question had 4 marks to be given, and every wrong answer, incorrect answer, they deducted -1. Okay, and for unattempted questions there was no negative marking or no positive marks. The other thing was shuffling between the sections was also allowed. Like you are doing quantitative ability, you could do a maximum of 25. Okay, and then you find that the time is running a little bit late, so you try to maximize the score in logical reasoning, you shift to that particular section. Okay, or and then you come back later on to quants and then finish it off. So all the shuffling between the sections in that particular timing of 120 minutes was allowed. And then the overall verdict was the paper was comparatively easier than the IPMAT Rohtak 2022. So in 2022, the IPMAT cutoffs were the highest, 306, okay, for the general category. But this time, since the paper was easier now, there are a few things that we can expect. First of all, the cutoff is going to go higher. The second thing is now the weightage of the IPMAT. See, it is not that once you clear the IPMAT paper, you are through it. Okay, IPMAT paper just has a weightage of 45% when scaled down to 100. The PI is 15%, and 10, 20 and 12, 20. So together, put together, they give you 40%. Okay, so you'll have to really scale higher in your PI. You'll have to do PI really good, and then now your accounts is also going to play a major role. Okay, because most of the students are definitely going to score high. So to differentiate yourself, you definitely have to go, and they'll definitely look into your academic score as well. Okay, so yeah, all the efforts put in. So results are definitely going to be out by the first week of June. So maximum of 2 weeks of waiting time, my dear. And in that meantime, we can be preparing for JIPMAT. Okay, and we also have the IPMAT indoor coming on us. So we'll still be packed with preparations, not too much looking only into the results. Yeah, so let's hope the best comes in. Now, let's have a look at the quantitative aptitude, my dear. First of all, the quantitative aptitude. there was no change in the type of question that came. Okay, there was only one major change, and that is now there were quantitative comparison based questions. Quantitative comparison. Now, what does this mean? See, usually one side you are given a particular data, and on the other side another data. You will have to get values for both and then compare which one is greater. So those kinds of questions were there. That was the only thing that was new. And other than that, another major thing was in the previous years there used to be questions on this thing, algebra, but this year we do not find any questions in algebra. So number system, 3 to 4 questions were there. And see, Madhu, this is just memory based, so not the exact one, okay, because I'm not able to provide the exact numbers, okay. So as per the students, whatever they have communicated, this is just going to be a rough sketch. So SICI 2 to 3 questions were there. Okay, time and work took the majority. So 4 to 5 questions. And time, speed, and distance, there were questions from boats and streams. There were also questions from trains. So 2 to 3 questions, good enough questions from there. So age problems again 2 to 3. Probability and PNC 3 to 4 questions. Okay. Geometry 2 to 3 questions, and trigonometry also 2 to 3 questions. Okay. And apart from that, in arithmetic, you had ratio, proportion. Okay, clocks and puzzles, 3 to 4 questions, and set based or Venn diagram based questions, 1 or 2 questions you had on it. Okay. And the overall verdict for this paper was again easy to moderate only. Okay, so it wasn't difficult or anything like that. All the questions were doable here. The only thing was it was consuming a little more time. So the students couldn't attempt as many questions as they could do in the LR and the verbal section. Okay, that is what generally happens as well. So the number of good attempts are restricted to 28 to 30. Okay, and remember, my dear, 20 to 30 means I'm telling you that, see, if a student has attempted all the 40 questions and come, but the accuracy is not good, so that's not going to work out. The number of good attempts is going to be 28 to 30 with at least 90 to 95% accuracy. So a good score anywhere around 110 to 120 is definitely going to be a very, very good score at this. Okay, and yeah, again, the verdict, it was easy to moderate. Okay, so see, I would term it as easy only, but why I'm putting it as moderate is because this takes in a little more of extra time than the other two. Okay, and the time management becomes a little bit pushy here and there because of this particular session. Okay, that is the only reason. And then next, going on to the logical reasoning. Logical reasoning, again, critical reasoning, we had around 3 to 4 questions. Okay, syllogisms, 2 to 3 questions as expected. Seating arrangement, there were 2 sets. There were 2 sets here. Then age related problems again here also. And then you had family tree and blood relations. So you don't call it family tree and blood relation. Most of you might know it by blood relations. Okay. So I think we didn't see any question on directions here. Data sufficiency, 1 to 2 questions. Clocks and calendars, 2 to 3 questions. Analogy based questions. Okay, 2 to 3. Coding to coding again took the major part of the paper. 5 to 6 questions. Okay. So true, false, lie based questions, and then series 2 to 3. I'm happy that 2 to 3 questions only came in series because most of the students, especially when it comes to a new series, they find it difficult to figure out what is going to be the next term or something like that. But again, this time the series were also not so difficult. And what I have heard is most of the students, the good students, have attended all the questions. Okay, so the good students have definitely gone beyond 38. But again, I'm not going to go only with respect to the good students score now. We'll have to look into the whole performance. So the number of good attempts here would be anywhere around 32 to 35 with again 90 to 95% accuracy. Okay, and a good score anywhere beyond 120 to 125. Okay, so anything beyond 120 definitely is going to be an easy score, and this verdict was very, very easy. Okay, now see, the thing is, this paper now was why do I call this whole paper easy is, first of all, in the previous years no, there was no case when any student came and told that in 2 hours I had extra time. But in this particular year, okay, there have been many students who came and told me that I was done with the paper, I had 5 minutes extra, I had 10 minutes extra, 15 minutes extra and all. Okay, so that is why so this did not happen in the previous 2 years. So definitely the level of the paper was much more easier. And most number of students have told that logical reason they could maximize the number of attempts. They have gone beyond 38. Some have even done all the 40. Okay, so that is why I consider this to be a very, very easy section. Okay, and logical reasoning as per the same trend, whatever was happening in the previous year, the same kind of split up of the different topics have been given, so no surprise for this particular section as well. And then the verbal ability. The verbal ability, okay, was split into two sets of reading comprehension. One set had, I think, 5 questions, and the 4 to 5 questions, and the other one had 3 questions. Okay, something like that. So it was not an even breakup of the number of questions in each of the reading comprehension. Uneven breakup was there. So then you had questions on vocabulary, on analogy, fill in the blanks, okay, antonyms and synonyms, and idioms, phrases, and one word substitution. Now, vocabs again, as usual, did cover up most of the paper, okay, but the in the mocks, the students used to dread more about the vocab based questions, because all the Gradsquare mocks were definitely a little bit higher level than what was in the main paper. Okay, so that is what I had been telling you. If the students have been consistently scoring 250 to 280, 280, I was just pushing you to score more than that, at least 290 plus in the mocks. Okay, so that if you definitely had been scoring that in the mocks, this paper would have been very easy. Okay, and here clearing the cutoffs would have been very, very easy for you guys. Okay, so vocabs was the dreaded part, but luckily this time all the vocabulary questions were comparatively easier. Okay, and the students now again, they have maximized the number of attempts in this particular section, because obviously the questions are short, and like, see, the moment you look at the question, you either know it or you do not know it. You can finish it very, very fast. Okay, other than just apart from the reading comprehension, which is going to consume a little bit of extra time. So and the students will have 1 or 2 questions now, that those questions also were from the vocab section only, but I think other parts, none of the questions have been left out. So error correction, okay, grammar also had a greater weightage compared to the previous year. So error correction, sentence completion, sentence improvement, these kinds of questions now. Actually, the questions were more than 10, I think 11, 12 questions were there. Okay, so this was a good paper, and all the basic concepts of grammar were only tested, my dear. So not difficult, whatever had been discussed in the class and all, so those only. Okay, and apart from that, as usual, you had this spelling questions. Okay, and you also had questions on parajumbles. So around, I think, 4 questions, I think, on parajumbles. Two were normal parajumbles, and the other two were, I think, they had four sentences given to you, and you had to, three of them would definitely fit into a paragraph, but one wouldn't, so you had to figure out that odd one out. So I think that question was also there, which was told by the students, and if those kinds of questions had come, then that was the only change from as compared to the previous years. Okay, otherwise remaining the whole section was the same. Now, the number of good attempts here would have been 32 to 36. Yes, I know that most of you would say that, ma'am, it was so easy, we have done 40 questions, my dear. But again, in this particular section in LR, now, see, in quants, you're not prone to too many errors, because accuracy would be high there. Okay, but verbal ability and LR, okay, you might feel that the answer is right. Okay, especially critical reasoning in LR. Okay, syllogisms in LR. Okay, analogy. So you might feel that it is easy, but again, when it comes down to the actual paper and the actual key, then you might feel that 1 or 2 questions there also have gone wrong. So that is why. So even if you say that in verbal you have got 40 out of 40, my dear, please do check it. Maybe a few error correction here and there, 1 or 2 mistakes might have happened. Sentence completion, so reading comprehension, and no one actually can actually predict what the author is exactly trying to say. So 1 or 2 questions and mistakes are definitely possible. So a good attempt anywhere from 30 to 36. A proper attempt with 90% accuracy, 80 to 90% accuracy. Here we'll say 85 to 90% accuracy is going to be a good attempt. Okay, and a good score anywhere between 115 to 120 is very good. So overall, the verdict, most of them say that this was easy, but slightly a bit more trickier. Now, why trickier is like students found the tricky part only in the this thing, grammar section. Okay, so and reading comprehension. Otherwise, the vocabs were very, very direct. Okay, right. So now let's have a overall verdict, my dear. See again, as per the students and as per what I have seen around, the IPMAT Rohtak 2023 was easy, and comparatively to the previous years. Okay, so the cutoff is definitely going to go higher, my dear. And whatever cutoff I'm going to say here, my dear, please remember that last year now we expected a cutoff of around 280 to 90. Okay, but the paper is easy and the cutoff actually went higher than what we wanted. So what I'm not going to keep my bars low. I'm going to just raise it. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a very safe score for the cutoffs. Okay, so that the students do not just wait in what to say on this thing. Uh, let's take it the hard way around. Okay, and I'm going to actually tell you the upper limit. Okay, so if you definitely get into this particular range, your cutoffs will be cleared. Okay, the cutoffs can slightly go lesser than this, my dear, but I don't think it's going to go beyond this. Okay, so I'm just giving you the maximum one. So a good number of attempts here would be anything 110 plus, but again provided with minimum 90% accuracy. Okay, and a good score anything beyond 360 plus. I mean, this is for the students who have been doing really well. Okay. See, only when you maximize the scores here, na, when it's scaling down, even if you haven't really scored too much in your ACADS, na, this can actually pick you up a little bit. Okay, not too much, but it can definitely scale up by a little bit of points. So that is why 360 plus would definitely be a good score. Okay. Now, for the general category, a safe score would be anywhere around 320 to 325. So most of the students are saying that it is definitely going to go beyond 400. No, my dear. So see, overall, when you look at the paper, okay, it looks easy. Okay, but again, when you come down and look at the answer key, there's definitely going to be a lot of difference. Okay, so 324 I think is going to be the maximum cutoff, my dear. Okay, so not more than that, I guess. And for the EWS section, the economically weaker sections, 260 to 270. Okay, the OBC is slightly then going to go lesser than the EWS. That's going to be around 250 to 260. The SC cutoff will be 170 to 180. The ST cutoff around 110 to 120. And then the PWD cutoff is going to be around 200 to 210. So again, remember, I have actually taken the cutoffs in a safer side. Okay, I don't want to give you a lower value and the cutoff ending up higher. So I don't think the cutoffs are going to go higher than these upper limits that I have specified. Let's hope for the best. Okay, and students, my dear, most of you have applied you have applied through NCOBC and all those, no? So this one, OBC is nothing but through NCOBC, my dear. So when you are going for your admissions, when you're going for your PI, you might be asked about your category certificate. So you people have uploaded the caste certificate in the the form that you were filling, okay, for the IPMAT Rohtak, okay. But remember that now you'll have to also keep your category certificate ready. So NCOBC category will have their own category, EWS your own category, this thing, okay. So you don't have to go and get separate different kinds of formats, my dear. You go to the Tahsildar office, they are going to give you a specified format. So take it in that way. Okay, over all of India, the format is state wise, I think the format is going to be more or less the same thing only. So you please go and get it. Okay, keep all your category certificates also ready. And please check whether you have all your documents safe or not, okay, before you go for the PI or before the admission process starts in. Right. So yes, so I think all of you have done IPMAT Rohtak really well. So please get in for your preparation for JIPMAT, and then yeah, I'm in the all the best to all of you, my dear. Thank you so much.